Yes, good afternoon. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are here to talk about Liverpool. Will they be as strong as Arsenal and Manchester City next season? We're going to break it down. We're going to talk about their new recruitment strategy, how they could line up, who is being linked to be the new replacement, long-term replacement that is, for Mohamed Salah. If you are new to the channel, please make sure you go down and subscribe. 89% of people that have watched their content in the last week are not subscribed. So what are you waiting for? Go down, press that subscribe button. And if you haven't already, please do drop a like. Let me know your thoughts down below. Now, Liverpool is an interesting one for me. It's an interesting one. You've got players being linked to moves away. You've got the likes of Mohamed Salah's future, question marks, Van Dijk's future, question marks. You've just lost arguably your greatest manager you've had in the last 30, 40 years. And now it's about Arne Slot. And there's a few question marks because easy. He had some success at Feyenoord. Now they're being linked to the likes of Santiago Jimenez, being linked to the likes of Gertruda from Feyenoord. How are they going to set up? And what's the transfer policy going to be like? Now, I want to cast everyone's minds back to the recruitment that Liverpool did last summer because they kind of went against the grain. They replaced an entire midfield in one window. They lost Henderson, they lost Fabinho, Thiago Alcantara has been injured for the longest time. They brought in Endo from Germany for around £15 million. They brought in Soberslai. They brought in Gravenberch from Bayern Munich, and they brought in the likes of Harvey Elliott into more of a kind of more involved with the first team. And I come off the bench a lot. It's absolutely insane to rebuild a midfield in one window. That is very, very unheard of. And now you're talking about various players being linked with a move away. How are Liverpool going to set up? They also brought through McAllister, who was an unbelievable signing for Brentford. Now, if you actually look at Feyenoord, how they overall, didn't have the best of seasons last year. PSV absolutely blitzed them to the league, scoring 111 goals, which is just mental to me. They play a back four. He kind of plays a 4-2-3-1 formation. Gertruda, Santiago Jimenez, Stengs. They got some top players. They're also being linked to some good players as well. But what's different about Liverpool going into next season is they've brought through Richard Hughes, who was instrumental in Bournemouth's recruitment strategy the last number of years. They brought through some top signings, and they've also brought through Marcus Edwards. Now, Marcus Edwards will be the brain of that football club, and he's one of the most intelligent minds in football that there is. He is genuinely a unbelievable footballing brain. He's a director of football. He's a football, technical director. He can do a number of roles. And what's important to note is that Arne Slot's role will not be the manager of the football club. His role will be the head coach, which is very, very important for me because understanding your role early on is something that Man United did not do with Arne Slot. Arne Slot at times was all over the place. It was all over the place of Eric Ten Hag. Is he the head coach? Is he the manager? Does he have the backing from, does he have the backing from the club? This is the big, question mark that's being asked. Now you look at Liverpool, they've brought in Marcus Edwards. They've brought in Hughes. They've identified that they want Arne Slot to be the head coach. He come out and said, for me, it's normal. There isn't much change between a head coach and a manager. Being a head coach, I can prepare the team in the best way, and Richard and I can work together when it comes to transfers. So what style of football are they going to play? Well, they're going to play a very much high pressing, one-touch pass and move, playing it out from the back system, kind of like they already do. But I think it will be more of a traditional 4-2-3-1. The midfield probably could be a double pivot of an attacking midfielder, two wide players, and a number 9. Now, who is going to be that number 9? Who is going to be the number 9 in that side? Because I look at it, right now, Darwin Núñez for me, I don't necessarily think he's the most clinical of strikers. He missed something like 25 big chances. I don't think overall that he has the legs, not necessarily legs, the ability to score 30 goals a season. You've got someone on the right who can score 30 goals a season, but Mohamed Salah, I think, slowly is on the decline. Now, what do we think about Liverpool's recruitment strategy? Another what they've done is they've broken down the actual hierarchy. So Micheal Edwards will be the new CEO for FSG. Richard Hughes will be the new sporting director. Julian Ward will be the technical director, and Pedro Marquez will be director of football development. All documents were signed, and Arne Slot is now the new Liverpool head coach. Now, we go and look at some of their recruitment. It's a completely new era for Liverpool. If you're a Liverpool fan, you should be excited, in my opinion, because they've got some interesting changes. Richard Hughes is a you know, data-driven approach that he had at Bournemouth. Edwards regards him as one of the best in the industry when it comes to getting players over the line and identifying transfer targets. Now, what does this mean with regards to Micheal? Why has Micheal Edwards chosen Slot? This is what he said from The Athletic, is a distinct identity, a dynamic, high energy and possession-based football. Head coach rather than manager means he's more hands-on in training, a ground operator, able to harness Liverpool's iconic fan base, a good record of keeping players fit, and a history of improving players. Now, this is what I believe Arne Slot in his style is, to have a lot of the ball, to have a lot of energy, to put players under immense pressure and to create as many goal scoring opportunities, you can really have. Now, we look at Liverpool overall. Let's look at their team from last season. Let's look at the very, very last game of the season against Wolves and how many of these players will be there come, the first game of the season against, I don't even know who their first game is, but the first game of the season. Now, this formation will change massively, in my opinion, because you see a front three there of Gakpo, Salah, Diaz. You see a midfield of Harvey Elliott, Endo, McAllister. They will become a double pivot in there. I think they potentially will bring in a right-sided right back. They're looking at Gertruda from Feyenoord. They're also looking at, the likes of Santiago Jimenez. I do think you could see Cody Gakpo in a more central role next season. I think on the left and on the right, I think, they're being linked to players like Kudus, Somerville, Edison from Atalanta. We will get through their potential incomings, but this 11 could be literally be ripped apart. Van Dijk will still be there, Trent will still be there, and Salah will be there, as well as Alisson. But Quansah, Endo, Elliott, Diaz, Gakpo, Robertson could all find they've got new roles under Arne Slot. Now, let's talk about some of the incomings. Now, the big thing of Liverpool is who's going to be the Mohamed Salah replacement? Who is going to come in and be the new wide player? The new guy who can come in and score 25, 30 goals a season. Now, Liverpool are linked with Mohamed Kudus. I think he is a top player. Now, Arne Slot will know him from the Eredivisie playing at Ajax. He had his first season under the likes of, David Moyes at West Ham. Had a fairly good return when it comes to his output. Has got a number of years left on his contract. Now, what is going to be does a Mohamed Kudus come in? And I personally feel you need to bring in two players to replace Mohamed Salah. I don't necessarily think that, a Kudus on his own replaces his output, because Mohamed Salah, for 5 seasons now, has had 20-plus goals and goals and assists combined. In terms of Mohamed Kudus' overall last season, he played 48 games, got 18 goals and 7 assists, including 2 games in the Eredivisie. 9 games in the Europa League, 33 in the Premier League, and EFL Cup and Europa League qualification. Now, in terms of his contract expires in 4 years, and they have the option to extend for another year. Now, why I don't necessarily know if West Ham will go out there and break the bank, Liverpool will go out there and break the bank on a Kudus, is because West Ham are on the verge of potentially losing Paqueta because of his situation he's got outside of football. So then you look at other alternative options. Now, Somerville from Leeds has been heavily linked with a link to Liverpool. You know, he will know him very well. He's another Dutch player. You know, joined Leeds from Feyenoord, so he should have known about him coming through the academy. He joined Leeds for around 1.5 million euros. Had a very, very good season with Leeds. 19 goals and 9 assists in 43 games. Overall, played 49 games last season, 21 goals, 10 assists. Somerville, for me, if they were to bring in, I think Luis Diaz probably would leave Liverpool either this summer or in January. I don't think his output is as strong enough. You know, for Arne Slot, Liverpool should expect the title race next season. They should expect the title race. I don't necessarily know if there's going to be a drop-off. Some fans are coming in saying, yeah, with no Jurgen Klopp, we can expect a massive drop-off. The difference is now you got Hughes and Edwards up there doing the recruitment, running the football club, intelligent football brains, and now you've also got the likes of, you know, a good football coach in Arne Slot, who's got experience and got a track record for identifying and improving young players. You know, Somerville, for me, if they were to bring in a Somerville and a Kudus, and then you potentially let go of Luis Diaz, I still feel they need more, you know, more firepower in that front line. Now we talk about the defensive midfield situation, because this for me is the most important role Liverpool have got to replace next season. And for me, the number one replacement should be Ederson from Atalanta. I think he is unbelievable. Had such a strong campaign at Atalanta, winning the Europa League, was very, very good home and away against Liverpool. He's 24 years of age, is valued at around 50 million. Ederson genuinely, for me, would be the signing that I put Liverpool as strong as the Arsenal and the City signing. Him on his own, 53 games last season for Atalanta, 12 in the Europa League, winning the Europa League, 36 in Serie A and 5 in the Italian Cup. Joined Atalanta back in 2022 for 13 million euros. He can play midfield, attacking midfield and DM, but he is a fantastic defensive midfielder. And I think that is an unbelievable replacement, long-term replacement for what Fabinho offered to Liverpool. I overall believe Ederson in a Liverpool shirt is a strong not necessarily as strong, but on the path to being a Rodri type player for them. The way he breaks up the play, his work ethic to get up and down the pitch, the way he reads the opposition. He's kind of like Paulinho from Fulham, but I think he's a little bit better. You know, the three targets that they're being linked with, Somerville, Ederson, and Kudus. You've also got the likes of Gert Struder from Feyenoord. You've also got the likes of Santiago Jimenez from Feyenoord. Liverpool could have a strong window this season and be back in a Premier League title challenge with the right recruitment. I don't think there'll be a drop-off like a lot of people think. I think Liverpool have got intelligent people making footballing decisions now. And it's now about closing the gap between where they were last season to where Manchester City were at winning the league. And you've got someone brilliant in Micheal Edwards to do that. You know, they finished on 82 points. They were 9 points off of top of the table. You know, they've got to improve that defense a little bit. And with the security of Ederson sitting in front of that back line, I think really does do that for them. Let me know your thoughts down below if you haven't already. I will see you all in the next one. Thank you all for watching. I am